Okay, I had the parietal, occipital, and temporal bones by Jane Meadows. So why is this important? Learning about the skull structures can help you to better understand their individual functions and how they each relate to each other. This can help when diagnosing injuries and figuring out problem areas. When you know what each bone is, where they're located, and what their function is, it can be easier to tell if they are working properly. Lastly, it's important to know the anatomy of the skull for not only clinical but also surgical purposes. So, the parietal bone. This is located at the sides of the skull in the roof. It protects the brain. They are very large, taking up most of the skull structure, and flat. So there are two, and they both meet at the sagittal structure in the midline of the skull. So the occipital bone. This is located at the back, at the base of the skull structure. It protects the occipital lobe. It contains something called the foramen magnum, which is an opening where the spinal cord passes through and connects to the brainstem, which would be right down here. So this is the parietal bone compared to the occipital. Okay, the temporal bone. So this is on the sides of the skull, right below the parietal. It contains the inner ear canal and the mastoid process, which means it helps with hearing and balance, and one of its main function is to protect the structures of the inner ear. So we have the parietal, occipital, and temporal. So here's just two more diagrams. This shows more of the anatomy of the skull. It shows our temporal bone, which is right here, our occipital, our parietal, and it shows more of these other structures that all relate to each other. And then this one over here shows the temporal bone lit up in this orange color. It shows us from the side and also from the front view with the ear. So this can help better understand how it relates to the inner ear and protecting that and helping with balance, because it is located right in this area, which is right where our inner ear canal is. So my discussion question is, how do these bones contribute to protecting the brain from physical or environmental factors or trauma?